This podcast is sponsored by Murgitroyd, intellectual property attorneys. For more information on today's guest and our company, visit murgitroyd.com/podcasts.
Hello and welcome to the 6th season of Murgitroyd's Innovation Talks podcasts. We're delighted you have joined us. If you have any questions, you can email us at innovation.talks@murgitroyd.com or contact us via Twitter @Murgitroyd. And please remember to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. So let's go straight into today's podcast. Hello, I'm Kevin Toner, Client Services Director at Murgitroyd. Today I'm joined by Dr. Claudia Cavalluzzo, Director of Converge Challenge. Converge Challenge is one of the UK's leading company creation programmes, open to new entrepreneurs in Scottish universities and research institutions. Hi, Claudia.
Hi, Kevin.
How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. My first podcast ever, so quite excited about this.
I hope you enjoy it. You've just completed another successful Converge Challenge programme. Could you give our listeners a brief overview of who takes part and what's involved in the competition?
Yes, so just like you said, Converge is a Pan-Scotland company creation programme dedicated to the university network. Every year we receive around 150 applications from students and staff across Scottish universities who have a business idea or research that they want to commercialise. Through a rigorous judging process, we select around 90 projects per annum and will provide entrepreneurial training, access to experts and advice, coaching and funding to the best aspiring entrepreneurs. Since I joined Converge, no year has been the same. The first year I joined, which was 2017, going in 2018, our founder and my former boss decided to leave before my first year at Converge had ended. So that was a big surprise. The following year, I was flying solo for the first time, leading the team and bringing all universities to support the program, which was great. And we had a fantastic award ceremony at the V&A. And I thought I had got it all sorted. And then 2020 happened and COVID happened, which means that all we had done, yes, it was useful, but we had to rethink it. So this year we pivoted to a full digital delivery and the digital delivery of our events. And I'm ashamed to say that it was a great success. I feel for all the people who struggled this year. But from a Converge point of view, we received a record number of applications. The quality of our applicants and the business propositions was incredibly high. And we had fantastic finals and a very successful award ceremony, which was delivered online. And it really set the bar for the new high quality standard of online events, if I may say so myself.
Yeah, I think it was incredibly successful, as you say, in trying times. And Murgitroyd, having sponsored it for nearly a decade now, it was really, really interesting to be part of this whole new approach, a new approach that so many others are having to adopt. But I should congratulate you and the team. It was really, really good. It's an enjoyable experience. And I've had the follow-up calls now with the winners who we're providing some support to. So just say well done, very well done on that front. We're all surrounded by fantastic inventions that come directly from the scientific community. But many scientists fail to benefit financially from their inventions. Why do you think that is?
Well, scientists are motivated by different things. And I can say that because I am a reformed scientist. Researchers in particular are motivated by curiosity, by finding the truth, by doing something that nobody else had been able to do. And career-wise, they look for publication and high-impact factor journals and grants. Therefore, profit doesn't really sit well with researchers. They want to solve a problem. They want to make an impact in the world, and they feel that monetizing that is just not right. And I know that because in my early career as a researcher, I was lucky enough when I was in Belgium to work on a project with a big pharma. And I hated that. I was collaborating with, the dark side, and that my research was going to be used to make money. And also I couldn't publish anything because they owned the research I was doing. Instead, I should have really looked at the opportunity. I should have looked at the fact that my research might get to people because of that collaboration with a big pharma. And I just couldn't see that. And that's not something you're trained for when you're a researcher. I think we are living a culture change now. Universities are starting to really understand their role, not only in teaching and research, but also as engines of economic development. In the whole of the UK, that's happening. Different parts of the UK are moving at different speeds. But we're definitely seeing this in Scotland. And I know so many fantastic researchers, professors, PIs, to name a few: Professor Mark Bratley from the University of Edinburgh School of Chemistry that I had the pleasure of working for, Professor Helen Hastie from Heriot-Watt, or Professor Des Gibson from the University of West of Scotland. These are incredible scientists, researchers, team leaders who also can spot commercial opportunities and have given the opportunity to their people, their PhD students, their senior staff, actually pursue that opportunities. And we have seen some fantastic companies emerging from that research. So I think the motivation starts from a different point of view, but then you have some really enlightened people who can see that the two things don't have to be at the opposite sides of the equation.
Just extending that thought then, can you be a scientist and an entrepreneur? I mean, don't these two disciplines need sort of a completely different mindset?
Yes and no. As always, there isn't an easy answer for that. As we discussed, scientists tend to be motivated by different things, but there are some qualities that scientists have. They're really handy if you want to be an entrepreneur. Let's take resilience, for instance. Scientists have to try over and over again to solve a problem. So if you're a chemist, you will try a reaction for several times, like I did in my first year of my PhD. And you try and try until it works, until you've tried all the variations of that reaction. And you have to pick yourself up when it fails, when even your supervisor might start to think that you might not succeed. You know it's going to work and you keep trying. And that resilience is highly connected with failure. And scientists are not scared of failing. Well, depends on to which extent, but actually, it is from failure that opportunities come. It is from where others have failed that you can find your niche and your opportunity. So we try and we fail and we pick ourselves up and we try again until we make it work. And I think that quality is very useful as an entrepreneur because you will have lots of setbacks. You might find that people don't believe in what you believe in, that your customers might not want to buy your product, so you have to go back and change it. So that attitude to be resilient and to not be afraid of failing is a really useful skill. I think passion is, again, something that scientists and entrepreneurs share. There is this kind of sheer belief that what we're doing is so important. I mean, I say what we are, but I'm not doing that anymore. But science can have such a big potential, and so a business can have a huge potential and huge impact. And that passion is what drives us to do fantastic research, but also to create really impactful businesses. However, there are some qualities that might be less useful as an entrepreneur. By definition, scientists are perfectionists, and that's because you cannot publish a paper if you're not 100% sure that what you have done is, idiot-proof, that if somebody else goes and repeats it, they have to have the same result. So you will only publish a reaction, a discovery, if you're 100% sure that that's right. In entrepreneurship, that's not quite the same. And, sometimes I say it doesn't have to be perfect, it has to be done. So think about your MVP and that you just need to be right. You just need to be able to communicate the value of what the product is going to be down the line. It doesn't have to have all the features as you start. So that kind of strive for being perfect can work against entrepreneurship. I think also a scientist's attitude to pragmatism and the matter of fact attitude is not always a great selling point. As I worked in my first spin out from the University of Edinburgh, I was the scientist in the group and I was just kind of wheeled in when we're talking to investors to talk about the science. And I was always appalled by what my former CEO would be able to promise investors, things I wasn't sure I could do. It was this vision that he was selling. And for me, it was what I'm able to do today and what I think I can do tomorrow, but I can't promise anything. And I found that really difficult to connect with and to kind of support. So I think scientists are not very good storytellers. We tell facts and diagrams and analysis. And when you are, promoting your business, you have to sell a vision. You have to paint a picture of what success will look like, even if you don't have all the facts in hands. And that's not lying, I discovered. It's just, using the truth in a way that might suit you. Having said that, I've seen some fantastic salespeople doing great jobs, and they are scientists. I've got a great friend of mine, Eleanor Irvin, who was a founder of a Converge business called Biogelics. And then she moved on to a sales job with Fuse Genomics. And she's an incredible salesperson. And, her scientific background allows her to speak about what she's selling with confidence. But that doesn't mean she can tell a story, that she can convince people that what she has got value for them and really engage well with their customers.
That's really, really interesting. And I think you can pick up a wee bit of the passion from yourself there when you were talking about it. Your background in science then and stepping into this new role, that must be a good combination for you when you're talking with these young entrepreneurs coming forward.
Yes, absolutely. I think I found the perfect job with Converge, a job I didn't even know it existed before I saw it advertised, because it allows me to combine my passion and interest for science with my other interest, which is business and entrepreneurship. And I like that I can often talk a little bit about science with our participants. Sometimes I don't understand everything that they say, but that's all right. I still get very excited about new discoveries and new applications. And I think they need a bit of that, because I think there is that attitude when you're a scientist, you like to speak a different language, you like to feel really clever. And I want them to still feel clever, even though they are embarking on a journey that they might not know a lot about. Science has taught me resilience, indeed. I have failed several times in my various careers, but I've picked myself up. I have this attitude or this inclination to always improve myself, which, sometimes can work against me. But I think you're always trying to do better. And I think that thing is present in the team as well. We're always maybe a bit harsh on ourselves. We think we could do better. Everybody can constantly do better, even though we should be content with what we have sometimes. I think something else I picked up from science is a logical approach to problem solving. And I like to do things step by step. I like to start from the very first start point all the way to different potential outcomes. And somehow I realized that that's not very common. People think that common sense is common, but it isn't. And that ability to really analyze step by step and make some assumptions and test the assumptions to solve a problem can come in very handy. Although I think, again, that is a double-edged sword, because there can be a bit of analysis paralysis, which has tricked me sometimes. And I just spend so much time analysing the problem and all the things that could go wrong that perhaps I don't focus too much on following my gut instinct.
Okay. So basking in the glory of the recent Converge Challenge, just a final question. If you were giving young entrepreneurs a couple of key tips in terms of developing their ideas or looking for support, what would they be?
So a few things. We all need to be more ambitious, I think, as a country, but scientists need to be ambitious, because what they have has the potential of saving lives. And as a scientist, you might struggle to see how that from your bench could go into pharmacies, into hospitals, but that's really possible. And we've seen some fantastic scientists turned entrepreneurs, and they have the potential. They are in the brink of really making that impact with, Dave Hughes and Novosound, or Kate Cameron and Cytochroma, some fantastic innovations. And their ambition is huge, and we should follow their path, really. Again, as I said earlier, I think let's not focus too much on being perfect, but just let's get it done. Get engaged with people to understand what are the features and benefits of your product or service, and put it out there. Get it out there. Obviously, make sure that you have protection, IP protection, or at least an NDA. If you're talking to someone, you'll be able to tell more about that. But you just don't wait for it to be perfect, because it's probably never going to be perfect. Your job will never be done. And something else we focus a lot on with Converge is communication, the ability to communicate what you have. Scientists are rightly so very proud of their science, their technology, the how. But often customers and investors don't really care about how, but they care about the what. It's like, selling a car. If you're talking to me, I probably don't really care about the size of the engine and all the technical things. I want to know that's comfortable. I want to know that's safe. So think about who you're speaking to and don't get lost in the technical details, because you've got a pedigree that gives you credibility. Now focus on what your audience wants to hear, so your features rather than the technical details. And we try to do a lot of that coaching with the program at Converge.
Right, well, that's fantastic, Claudia. Thank you very much for your time today. I've really enjoyed that discussion.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time today. We hope you found today's podcast valuable. And remember to subscribe so you don't miss any of our future episodes. So until the next time, goodbye.
Our business is founded on trust and collaboration. The subjects we choose for our podcasts are topical and informative. We are always looking for suggestions for new topics for discussion, so if there's an area of IP that you're keen to understand better, please drop us a line at innovation.talks@murgitroyd.com.